I just bought this for 500 bucks. This is a 2001 Yamaha Bear Tracker. This is a 250cc quad. This engine kind of came in the Bruin 250 and the Timberwolf 250, which had an option where you could get a 250 four-wheel drive. There wasn't a whole bunch of changes. I don't necessarily remember what years this was made. Now, in the listing, the guy told me that it needed a throttle cable and a carburetor. Well, this was his throttle cable setup. Yeah. It's still got the OEM carb on here, so I'm gonna try to run it like that. It was about 6 hours round trip to go get this. I had something else to go do in that area, so it kind of worked out. But I spent about 70 bucks in fuel going and getting this thing. That includes, I put fuel in it while I was out and about. So we're gonna try this, because it did not have fuel in it. I did hear this bust off while I was there. So as long as we don't have any type of rear end issues or clutch issues, this should be no big deal. On this, it does need serviced, but not that bad. Come on. Oh, he left me his starting fluid. And there's some type of, it looks like lizard eggs. We've had a bat in the shop over this past weekend. Air filter, it's ugly, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I didn't know till I got there it did not have a battery, but it did pull start pretty easily for me. Make sure we're on the on position right there. The reverse light just lit up. Okay, now get the neutral light. It's almost as if we're not getting fuel down into the carb. So I'm gonna take and bust this screw open and see if we are. So let's try it with the jump box. I wasn't having fun with the Okay, so you're gonna need some carb work. But one thing I don't like doing is taking stuff apart and putting it back together, taking it apart, putting it back together. I'm gonna pop that carb off of there. Let's see what it looks like. Hopefully there's no issues with the carb to where we don't need to replace the carb, because it's still got the factory carb on it. So I'm gonna pull it off from right here. This thing will only even have like two, hopefully. He didn't mess something up in this carb to get it to where it's like, that's our problem. Shift the airbox back. Then we should be able to yank and tug. Oh, push turn the fuel off. So we definitely got good fuel flow to there. It seems to be working. Let's go open this up. All right. This is gross, but not that bad. Ain't terrible. You know, a lot of people sit here and they'll say, oh, it needs a new carb, when really it just needs clean. That's not a big deal at all. Pine salt though. So that's the problem. That's alright, none of this looks that bad. These carbs are very easy to work on too. They kind of can't mess them up. So I suppose you could, but it's not that easy. gonna spray all this stuff out and make sure we're nice and clean. I'm gonna leave this in there for now because this is gonna be my test throttle. Yeah, without the pine saw. Probably skip the ultrasonic this time. So today we're just gonna use compressed air and brake clean on this one. This little jet right here is our whole problem. That's why I don't want to start up. Another thing you can do to make this a little cleaner is put a little wire through it. I have a tool that I've had a long time. Unless I no longer have it. Yep, tucked away in the back. This is from K&L. Oh, you know what? I bought a new one. That's right. The other one got broken, and it's got one of these in here that is just super small. Will fit right in there. And if you don't have one of these, don't have the budget for one of these, or do not care to wait to buy one of these, you can use wire. You could find some stranded wire if you got a homie that's an electrician or something, because they have another kit that comes commonly with a lot of carbs. I got one back here. This right here, it's helpful, but none of these are going to be small enough to fit in any pilot jet. And the pilot jet, 9 times out of 10, is the problem itself. I'm just going to kind of spray everything down. And spray it up. Just so you know, this stuff hurts in your eyes really badly. But an OEM carb will hands down always be a better option than going with a knockoff Chinese one, unless your carb is jacked up, something's broken, because these right here can sit long enough to seize up in those needles and kind of be trash. They make rebuild kits. I've had some of those Chinese carbs run good, but some of them not so much. My LTZ had one, and that thing, it ran spectacular. Even with some of the modifications I had done with it. There was a Grizzly 125 not too long ago with a Chinese carb that ran pretty good. It's just kind of how I clean these up. You just want to make sure it's clean enough that there's no debris gonna break free and jam up your pilot jet. And sometimes it's gonna take a few times to get it there, but you can get it there. And if you're trying to get away with trying to rebuild something like this without having a rebuild kit, or you're in a pinch, you're ready to ride this weekend, or like me, I'm trying to make sure that when I order parts for that thing, everything's ordered and coming in. Just try not to get any of that brake clean, carb clean, any of that stuff on that, or this will like stretch out. Not all of them do it, but it's a good rule of thumb. I don't clean that rubber gasket. Come on. And then I just take this. Blow it all out as best as possible. Just keep in mind there's gonna be a lot of orifices that start coming out of other spots. So like, that's going right up into the carb. Diaphragm don't wanna move. Oh, I might have blew the jet all the way up in there. It's gonna be alright. Should probably pull this diaphragm out and check it out anyways. And blow the needle up. Diaphragm looks good. You just want to check for tears or anything funky. Anything out of the normal. Somebody's already been in here. That is a float ball screw. That looks like somebody replaced these screws at some point. Because some of them are short, some of them are long. One of the things you can do to check this looks good from here. Alright, and now we'll just put this back together. Drop that there. I always like to make sure I clean my tools before I start putting them back in. Just in case there was debris when you were taking it out. Debris, I don't know. Alright, that one goes there. You can't really mix match these up. I remember at one point I took one of these apart and couldn't figure out how to put it together. And now it's so simple. Always make sure that is just tight enough not to fall out. Because I actually bought one of these bear trackers many years ago that had an issue with it would idle all day long but it wouldn't rev up. Pull the float bowl out, the needle was laying, not the needle, the main jet was just laying right there in the bottom. Did I take off from that way or that way? Some of these are one way. What I've found is Chinese ones, it's not necessarily true. Voila! I'm not going to be surprised if this idles super high. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Because I'm going to have to replace the throttle cable no matter what. Dang, look, that thing was stripped. We ain't putting that one back on. And that one's all jacked up too. Need to find some of those. It don't look like it's gonna idle crazy high. All right, let's put it back on and see what it does. Bolt this back down and we can try it again. This back on there. This back on there. Oh. Turn it on. One of them doesn't have a good connection. Probably should turn the gas on, should we? Do y'all agree? That is a heckin' cool throttle. I'm trying to press that thumb throttle over there still. Give it a second, sit there and idle. Sounded good. Let's take it for a spin. Oh yeah. Gotta pull it down here. That's so ghetto. Oh, that's not good. We're not going into any gear. Keep trying to go for that thumb throttle. Oh, there we go. Whoa! Whoa, that's sketchy, boys! Oh, I can't see nothing. Y'all probably really can't see nothing. I tell you what, that is weird and hard to have good throttle control when you're pulling on a string. And there's no battery on this thing. Whoa! There's not hardly any headlights, and I sure as hell don't want a private stator on this unit. I'll pull this back up in the shop. Overall, this unit's not in bad shape. These tires ain't fantastic, but I think these are originals to this unit. Let's see if I can find the date code. Is this a 2001? I don't know if I said that already. They still have it? Huh. Either they don't have it or I'm missing it somehow. Usually there's like a little oval that it's inside of. Huh. I don't know, 2001. I'm pretty sure this is what it came with. Rear brakes work pretty good. Front brakes work all right. I'm pretty sure this was rolled. You can tell these bars are a little off. This right here is a little bent. I don't know what this is. Probably to like some kind of light bar they had on it. But overall, I mean, to find one of these, like this isn't bent at all. It doesn't look like anybody's really even hit anything with it. This is a nice example. This right here will clean up well. That's why I paid $500 for it. And I know that sounds crazy, but normally I wouldn't want to be that deep into a bear tracker. 250. Great starter quads, great starter quads. This is the competition to like the Honda Recon or I want to, the only other thing coming to mind is the Arctic Cat 250s, but this mops the floor with those things. They're so heavy, they sucked. I don't even like working on those, so it's highly doubtful you'll ever see one on the channel. I can't remember any of the other competition, but the Timberwolf was the earlier version. I can't remember, I think to 97, and this started in 98. I could be wrong on the years. But the Timberwolf didn't have metal racks and stuff. It was like plastic. But you can get that in four-wheel drive, which was real cool, and a 250. I mean, with a decent set of tires, as long as you're not high centering, you can pretty much take a 250 anywhere. A four-wheel drive 250, now we're talking business. So I'm gonna go order some parts and we will go from there. All right, so I'm trying to just be productive and have something to do because this is pretty much the only unit I have at the moment. And so we got us a new battery at the Wally Mart. Not necessarily the most cost-effective place to buy these things, but it is convenient. And some slime. Because these two tires over here on the right-hand side evidently are leaking down a little bit. These valve stems out. Hopefully I didn't just break that valve stem. I've had that happen before. Oh, it does not want to come out. That's not good. We'll come back to that one. All right, put some over here. The other side's holding air just fine. I've had this happen a time or two on these when the valve stem's been in there for a long time. This is not bad or something because it's kind of weird. Oh man. Mouth. Ugh. Doesn't taste as bad as you'd think it would. Well, it's odd, but that valve stem back in there. Should probably put air in the tire, right? Let's see if I can get that valve stem out of there. So I don't really know how that's supposed to come out. But these tools, I don't know if some of y'all have seen them. They've been around for years. It's got all this stuff on there, and I always wondered what it was for, and I don't know. Maybe that'll do it. Kind of thinking maybe that'll thread in. So far, it's not. Oh, we broke the entire thread section off. I wonder if that would probably just gonna have to get a new valve stem put on this in the morning. All right, now I'm gonna come over here, put the new battery in. Guess someone pulled this battery for something else because that's the only thing that makes sense why the old battery would be gone. Right, and if all is well, Headlights look a little bit brighter. Sweet! Now we'll wait for the rest of our parts to come tomorrow. All right, so we went and got a new valve stem put in this morning. It was more expensive than it should have been, but whatever. They had a hard time popping these tires off the bead, so I'm pretty sure these are factory OEMs from '01. I'm gonna check this backside. Yeah, manufacture date 2000. Dude put enough air in this thing, I'm surprised it didn't explode. It's got cracks in it that it didn't have in it when it left. Oh well. This unit's not worth enough to justify putting brand new tires on it. And I'm not spending half my day searching to find a set of used ones for this thing. We got us a new throttle cable from Amazon and a new oil filter. I did buy a new air filter, but it is not here yet. And it looks like it's gonna be delayed a few days. I don't know, it's not rocket science putting on an air filter, so serviced, good to go. All right, let's take this. No need to use a jack today. It's a 250. All right, cool. Let's change this oil out. Get down here to this drain. Let me clean this thing out. Looks like there's some stuff in it. Don't get me wrong, I can't 100% make an assumption, but this might be the second or third oil change for this thing, judging by the oil that came out of there. And this is still thick. A lot of these older quads that I deal with, like, they just got no viscosity left, and they're just thin like water. While we're over here, we're gonna go ahead and put this throttle cable on. And so I didn't forget, I accidentally started up. I went ahead and put the oil right there, because I will forget. Should be pretty simple to get this down through here. So one thing that I absolutely love about these 250s is, man, they're so simple. Everything on them just super easy. We just need to get a hold of this down here and get that out. Get the old one out of here. Oh, that's not good. That is not good. The end of this cable is this little bitty end right here. Okay? What is in the end of this is the same thing that's in the end of what goes up there at top. This should have in here what is a brass insert. I should have caught that. This this doesn't fit very well. He just shoved it in there. There we go. So see, that's what it's got in there. Let me see if I can find a brass insert somewhere around this shop. And I happen to get lucky from my parts carb bin. Oh, I should make sure this fits this end. Yep, sweet. So we can knock this thing out. I was gonna go ahead and drive over to the Yamaha dealer to get that air filter. But it's about a half-hour drive, so it cost me about 20 bucks in fuel. And it was like $32 plus tax. And it's like, you know what? That's why these local dealers, none of them ever stock anything. And what they do have is overpriced, except for I have one dealer by me where my Outlander came from, and they're a great dealer. I guess that's why people call them dealerships, right? Now we can take and put this on. Take the fuel line out the way and see if that helps a little bit. Put this back on there. Thumb throttle cover. All of our adjustments will be outside of it anyways. Get this off of here. All right. What is this in here? It's like it's a reusable filter, or is the paper gone? Not in here. Huh. I think that's a reusable filter. Clean that out a little bit. This one's kind of weird too. It's like not a normal paper filter. Does that make sense? Whatever, fits. Then we're gonna hit that last bolt on this thing with that golden ratchet for good luck. That's 24 karat gold ratchet right there. Now we're gonna put some oil in it. I don't know how much this thing's gonna take, but we'll put some Rotella in here. I'll put this stuff inside of everything. One thing you always want to make sure of is it's good enough for your wet clutches. It's JSO spec or something like that. Honestly, I don't remember off the top of my head. Rotella is kind of the cheapest thing that is that spec. I met a lot of people over the years that raced and stuff that use Rotella in their quads, so if it's good enough for the dudes out there racing, it's good enough for me to put in these units. We'll check it real quick. Need a little more. I think I get this for 16 bucks a jug. We're gonna use like half the jug or so. So So let's call it $8 in oil. Kind of last thing on the list besides washing it is wherever these cables went to. I think these were some sort of auxiliary lighting up here. And so we're just gonna take them off. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Somebody tied them into the headlights. Down here. Take that out of there. Now we just fire it up. See if we need to make any adjustments to the throttle. Let some of that oil pump through there. All right, I guess time to take it for a test ride. Now that we can actually ride it correctly. Hey, it ain't too shabby. Way more fun than this, all right, guys? Tell by the way you smash through gears. See, if my GPS is working, we can see how fast this thing goes. Most of the time it don't work out here because we're too far out. I bet that was what, 42 miles an hour? If that. Maybe could have got a little more out of it, but it sounded like I was going to float a valve on it. Forget how much fun I have on a 250. Oh yeah, I ain't going back there. Too many thorns now. The reverse on these is stupid. I don't know. I guess it is an old design. We're just gonna spray it down with some super clean. This thing doesn't need a whole lot. I don't wanna go making it more complicated than it needs to be. Got years of dirt build up off of there. Let's get the dip too. We do not want to leave this sitting on this aluminum very long. All right, there she is. That's finished product right there. I tell you what, it has been a long time since I went out and whipped it on a 250, and man, these things are so much fun. This bear tracker is a lot of fun. Hands down, if you're in the market for a 250, something small like this, go with the Recon. Unless you're just cruising, then it doesn't matter. But if you want something that you can throw around and have a good time on, those Recons are way more fun. But it looked pretty good. Put a little SC1 on it. Got a little shiny. Tires ain't fantastic. I think I'm getting sick. How is it? Tomorrow's 4th of July and I'm getting sick. I think this is an $1,100 unit. It's been a little while since I sold a bear tracker. These bear trackers, in my opinion, I think it's because they're a little uglier. This headlight setup is not as nice as the newer Recons. A newer Recon you can get $2,500 for. And these right here, I think this is $1,100 quad. And so I'll probably price it a little higher. I'm gonna shoot for a little bit more and hopefully get it. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes I'm wrong on how much stuff's worth. So y'all let me know, because I imagine up north this is probably a $2,500 unit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll see what we're doing next.